I'll be the first to admit our sales tax revenues are higher today than they ever have been in the history of the city. If our existing revenues, when we first started this whole extractive process in the area, were down here, our revenues are now here, but our needs are up here.
I forget what our latest count is, but a couple thousand, several thousand wells in our county, and before it's all over, we're going to have tens of thousands of wells. So there's first just getting our minds around that, just how big this thing could be, first off.
I don't think anybody's going to be particularly glad to see more big trucks, more dust. I mean, there's a lot of commerce going on with the agriculture, and that's pretty well about all our highways can handle. And having big truckloads of things going in and out, a dustier valley's not going to please anyone. The funneling away of water is not going to be anything that people will embrace.
There is the concern of to what degree the energy industry may kind of contribute to kind of permanently changing what this county is like, and maybe taking away from some of its current special values.
How much can the subterranean system assimilate and not eventually have it come back to the surface? It's very difficult. I mean, it's very difficult for anyone to conceive, but you have to sit and think about the volumes that are going in. 28 fracs on a well pad. None of those fracs are more than 1,000 feet away in one direction or another. They are little mini explosions, and they say that in their literature. They describe it as that. What is it doing to that whole area there? I just can't conceive that there aren't going to be some major accidents.
And there's also the aesthetic aspect. You know, how much are we willing to accept as a society, and as far as degradation of the landscape?
A company who's new to drilling in oil and gas in our state is going to have some problems, because our state, with its tight sands, is special. They have to have a staff that understands our underground and what will happen if you accidentally hit a very strong vein of gas. What do you need to do to protect those things? If you have a company that is not very financially well off, they don't have a lot of extra assets to accommodate emergencies. Maybe looking at additional bonding for emergencies. You might have to dig deeper and say, okay, we want ConocoPhillips to come forward and be part of this plan, because they do have better drilling history, better finances. Lexington will be the operator, but we need some guarantees, just like you do when you go in to sign for a loan. If you're starting out in a new business, you have to personally guarantee these things. You really should go after the company who has the experience and the financial background to really be the oversight over a new company, especially in a wildcat, with a fault line, with water problems, with only one county road. You have some things that have to be taken care of with TLC. And if you have a company that doesn't have a lot of bankroll, they don't have the money to do those things. And so they just can't. They're going to have to do it the easiest, cheapest way that they can. A community needs to get, at the speed of light, educated as fast as they can, because they need to know what are the costs that they can demand to be covered by the industry in advance. Because the industry would like to do it at the cheapest way that they can. And it's because of a lack of education that they can go to the community and say, well, this is all we can do. Because their bottom line is their most important issue.
The first thing they have to do is get a very good understanding of what authority they have. There are many things that you have, that a local official has the authority to permit. All of, you can permit compressor stations and wastewater treatment ponds, ancillary facilities to drilling can go through a special use process, like any other use in a county. So it's very important that they understand where their authority is. They have authority over roads. They can have authority over pipelines.
We could maybe condition the development and say, you're not going to be able to run trucks 24/7. You have to take into account the neighborhood and stop hauling water at 7 p.m. or condition the number of trucks on the road.
Look at what has happened in the most prolific counties and the counties that have done something successful and worked with them. You need to look at La Plata County. You need to look at Weld County, how they've managed to deal with the tax issue. You need to look at Rio Blanco, how they're trying to deal with small town, small community, small level of finances, and how they're dealing with the industry and making them accountable to them. Garfield County, what did they do? You need to use what other counties have had to learn through hard knocks to your benefit, and save yourself money, time, and energy, because it's already been done.
It's really important to understand that this is an industry that has been permitted to come into your county and develop whatever energy source they own or have leased. So you can't say no to them, but you can put a lot of conditions and provisions that will protect your quality of life, your public health, your land use issues, and the other values that you hold dear to your community.
You have town councils, you have county commissioners, and they have the authority to say, okay, here is what we would like to do. This is what we would like to reach out to the industry and say, here's where our concerns, what are you going to do to eliminate some of those concerns? What are you going to do in the event that there's a fire near your well site, or your well pad equipment, your welders, whatever other type of machinery or equipment that you're using on your pad is going to cause a community problem. What are you going to do to alleviate that? What you really want to do is to get a plan, a community plan for emergency preparedness. What are you going to do in the event our water is contaminated? What are you going to do for testing? What are you going to do for community reporting of this testing? The county commissioners or the community group can say, we would like every well tested within, a mile or 2 miles, of your drilling site. And those costs to the industry will be for their benefit as well as your benefit.
When you asked me about whether we would be, the Oil and Gas Commission could say no to drilling in a particular area, there's already that opportunity on federal lands. There's a no surface occupancy opportunity. So they can say, yes, you can find a way to extract this resource, but you cannot have any activity in this particular area because we want to save it. We want to protect it.